Well guys, here's the beauty. Brought back in the garage. It's looking pretty mint, if I do say so. It's probably up there with the top 2 worst bikes I've ever bought. So it's very, 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 very rough. And I thought it was a cool dirt bike at first, because the picture was deceiving online and the guy didn't want me to ask too many questions. Of course it's got the 69 on there. It's like typical bike. Yeah, so it's pretty rough. Let's just go over a couple of things right away. At first I thought this thing was like a 175 Yamaha dirt bike, and turns out it is a Yamaha DT 175. So it's actually an enduro. It's not a dirt bike. It was converted into a dirt bike with like the number plate and taking off the speedometer and the tack. So I kind of got tricked into buying that. When I got there, I was not too happy, because by the looks of it, I think it's pretty much clapped out here. It was up for 350 bucks. I got there and I'm like, I can't pay 350. And he's like, well, I'm not taking less than 175. And I'm like, I can't pay 175 either. So I ended up paying 150 for it. I offered 75 bucks because I'm like, this thing is just junk. But he wouldn't take less than 150. So I didn't want to waste 2 hours of my time and not come back with anything. So we're going to take this as a learning experience and start digging into it. Maybe we can save it. I don't know. It's possible. But it is locked up. So it's really, really locked up. There's no oil in it. I checked it when I was there. I'm like, yeah, that's not good. You can see there's no oil whatsoever on this thing. It just dry as a bone. Carburetor looks like it's seen better days as well. Everything's just hard. Everything's just hardened up on this thing. All the lines are brittle. I'm guessing the petcock doesn't move. Nope. You've got the green mossy stuff growing on the case. So I'm guessing it was either just in water or laying on the ground. I'm guessing the whole engine was just laying on the ground. The whole side of the bike was probably buried in the ground. Because how do you get that much green moss growing on it? And you can see all the moss growing on the plastics here. Let's see, there's a couple good pieces on it. The rims are nice. The shocks are decent. I think those will clean up. Handlebars are just completely clapped out. I don't know why they were put on like that. Man, that's weird. I don't know what's going on with that. I think a different triple tree was put on, possibly. Because look how weird they are. They're like pointed towards the bike. The pipe is actually not too bad. I think if we paint it up, there's really no dents in it or anything. Silencers still on there. So if anything, if we can't get this thing going, we can at least part it out and get our money back. That's my thought process. Seat is is pretty much gone here. A little bit rough. It's got the controls, but as you can see, not hooked up to anything, so I'm guessing it doesn't have spark. Oh boy. It did come with a chain. I've got the chain, so that's good, right? Clutch is locked up. That's always a good sign. Take a look inside the gas tank here. This should be exciting. Oh my gosh. Take a look at this. Oh my. Take a look in there. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. That's exciting stuff, isn't it? Zoom in there a little bit. Oh yeah, that's fun stuff right there. That is going to be a fun time. Look at all that. Just completely rusted. So I don't know if the gas tank's savable. I was hoping that would be decent. I couldn't get it open when I was there, so. All right, well. Does it shift? Let's see if it shifts through the gears. No. No. She doesn't shift either, so we have quite a bit of work to do here. I think what we're gonna do is start by taking off the gas tank, the seat, the pipe, get it down to the engine, and then start taking apart everything. I mean, look at that. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's got the cable right there. Man, this is rough. This is really rough. Yeah, we'll take it down to the engine, take off the head, take off the cylinder, see why the engine is stuck, and then we'll go from there. I'm guessing the pistons just rusted right to the cylinder, but we'll see. It'll be a nice little mystery video. Just had a couple bolts I had to cut off. Hopefully the seat comes off now. Look at that ratted out seat. Just completely rusted. That thing is crap. Ooh. Ah, there's a crossover tube. Got the seat off. It's a good first step. You can see that the suspension goes right through it right there. That's kind of cool. Let's see here. All right, what is next? Let's probably take off the pipe because that's kind of in the way of the head. So let's take off that. See if there's even a coil on here. Oh yeah, there's a coil right there. Take off the spark plug boot. Man, this thing's just really rough. It's got the nice carburetor on it, the Yamaha carburetor. Looks like everything's semi-hooked up. That's not hooked up. Well, these are... I take that back. Nothing's hooked up. Except those two plugs. And it's got one going to the oil pump down here from the throttle. That is also broken. And then one to the carburetor over here. So... I could probably just take both those off as well. But let's try to get this pipe off here first. Looks fairly simple. One bolt right there. And then one right there. And I think down here, there's a couple bolts holding it on down here. Those two were holding on the pipe. Alright, the pipe should come off now, hopefully. Thing's heavy. Alright, now we're left with this. So we've got access to the head. We can probably just take that off right away. Take the spark plug out. See what's going on in here. Probably should blow this out before I take... I guess it really doesn't matter at this point, does it? I'll get most of that stuff out, then we can take the head off. Let's see the wiring over here. I saw a bunch of wiring over here. This looks like it was for the headlight, blinkers, horn, stuff like that. Big pile of mess. I think everything that needed to be hooked up was hooked up. You got the coil hooked up. Is there like a kill switch though? Follow the coil wire. I'm guessing one of these is supposed to be hooked up for the... Oh, there's a electric start on this too. That's not the right switch for it because I don't think there's a battery on this thing. No, it's just a combination of all different bikes, I think. I don't think there is a wire going to here, so I don't know how you turn it on. I guess you just have to probably whatever went to the ignition. I think this one. Back here, you've got nothing going to it either. Looks like a ground. Let's see what goes to there. From the stator, going into here, going into here. It comes back out here. Yeah. I think we're missing a bunch of stuff. Guess we'll have to find out when we get that far. Let's take off the spark plug and then take off the head. See what's going on in there. All right, let's see if these nuts come off of here. Oh yeah, those weren't too bad. Easy. What do you guys think the piston is going to look like? This should be very interesting. Who knows how long this thing has been sitting? The guy didn't know much about it, so he said, which is funny that he even said this, it ran when he had it, and he said it ripped. So he said it was running at one point, but that's kind of hard to believe. All right, here we go. You guys ready? Let's see what she looks like. Is it blown up or is it just rusted in? Ah! Doesn't even look that bad. Check that out. That is clean. We have hope. Let's check out the piston. Really doesn't look that bad. I mean, that is not that bad in there. I thought it was going to be all rusted completely. Wow. Not bad at all. I say we let that soak for a little bit and see what's going on. We're going to use some PB Blaster. See if that does anything for us. It it'll just go right out that hole though. Let me see if I can plug that up. Yeah, not really working too well. See if it moves. Probably take the cylinder off. Hopefully it can come off. We gotta get the carburetor off. All that fun stuff. Alright, that's off of there. There, got the carburetor off of there. Alright, I think we're ready to get the cylinder off here. That's weird. Little caps. That's what those look like. Might take a little bit to get this one off. It's not budging. Gonna play with that for a little bit, see if we can get this cylinder off. Alright, the cylinder's being kind of difficult. We're gonna take off the flywheel cover right here and see if we can rotate the engine over by hand, because the kick lever's not working. I don't know if the clutch is locked up or what, but it should lift that whole cylinder off. Ooh. That doesn't look good. Holy cow. Looks like you got a little water in there. Oh my. That big chunk of metal just came off. I don't know where that was from. Somewhere over here. Was it from right here? Not too sure. A big chunk of the case came off. Exciting times. Some ice in there. I wonder if this thing is filled with ice. Man, that is rough looking. I'm just gonna spray in here, lube this up a little bit. Alright, let's try to twist that over. Man, is that rough. That thing is locked up. Holy. Doesn't even budge. Holy cow, man. She's locked up pretty good. I guess let's take the clutch side cover off and see what's going on behind there. All right, over on the clutch side, here's the oil pump cover. Let's see what the oil pump looks like. I don't even know if there's any parts we can sell in this thing. Not many. Oh, that doesn't look too bad. And the cover's nice. So if we can't get this thing running, at least we can sell the oil pump and stuff like that. Alright, let's try to get this thing off of here. I think this was updated with Allen bolts. I don't think it came with Allen. So maybe this thing was rebuilt at one point. Trying to get this oil bolt out of here. Oh, that sucker's on there. Big boy, let's take him out. Let's see if there's any oil in it. Not a whole lot coming out. Doesn't look too bad though. Doesn't look horrible. Hey, at least there was some in there, right? Barely any, but better than nothing. Alright, let's try to get this cover off. Try to get this water pump off now. A couple screws holding it on. See what happens if we tap it with the rubber mallet here. That looks beautiful in there as well. What is that stuff on there? That's crazy. Look at the corrosion. I don't even know what that stuff is on there. Doesn't look good though, I can tell you that. Look at those clutch plates. Holy. They're just like formed together. I don't know what was going on in this thing. This is really rough. Holy cow, this is rough. I don't think I've ever seen a bike this rough before. That's just insane. Let's try to rotate the, let's try to rotate this by hand to see. Alright, well, finally got the cylinder off here. Check it out. This is the damage. The actual piston, gotta get a rag and some WD-40. I don't think the actual piston looks too bad. We might be able to get this thing running if the crank isn't too bad, which It looks like it might be pretty bad. Let's see here. See what the piston looks like with all that crap off of it. You know, there's really not too many scratches on it. It doesn't look too bad. The rings are open. Look at that. We actually might just get lucky here. Yeah, the piston actually feels pretty good. We might get lucky. The only thing I'm really worried about is down here. The only thing I'm really worried about is the crank. You can see down in here. I mean, there's like a bunch of rust and stuff piled up in there. So if we can get that all out of there and get the clutch plates loose, I think we can actually get this thing going. Let's see what the cylinder looks like. Oh, take a hone through there, that'll be mint. That is so rough. Oh, look at that rust in there. No scratches though. That's a pretty good sign. I think it just sat for a long time. So let's get that piston off of here. Probably soak that in the ultrasonic cleaner for a while. And then try to work on this crank and get all that debris and stuff out of there. And then this is a whole different story. And then we've got another rough part on it. It's the flywheel. I mean, that's just completely rusted. So water must have gotten in here somehow. You can see it's all rusty in there. Just a tad rough. Transmission spins though. Look at that. That's a good sign. Alright, we got the piston off. Came out pretty easy. As you can see, it's really not that bad. There's one little scratch right there on that side, but every other place is really good. Oh, there's another one right there. A couple little scratches. But we're going to try to reuse the piston just for fun. See if it starts up. It's an easy two-stroke, so it's basically piston, cylinder, head. And you just quick put them on, and then we can see if it starts up. But we've got to clean this up a lot and clean out the ring grooves too and all that fun stuff. So the bearing actually was intact and wasn't too bad. The wrist pin bearing. And then over here, I'm working on getting the crank unstuck, and so far we're doing pretty good. There was a bunch of water in the crankcase, and I think the transmission was stuck and you couldn't shift because there was water in the case. So I've been taking a heat gun and just kind of heating up the engine, and you can see the water dripping out down below here. You guys see the water, see it drip? So I'm going to try to get all the water out of this thing and see if it'll shift. Because right now it doesn't shift. I've been playing with it a little bit. Let's see if she shifts yet. Alright. It'd be awesome if it did. Okay. Doesn't feel like it's good. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's first gear. There's neutral. Let's shift up into second. Oh, there's second, third, fourth, fifth. Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. There's neutral right there. Nope. There's neutral. Huh, sweet. It shifts. The crank is loose, and the flywheel spins. I might take off the flywheel quick and check underneath there if I've got the right tool, the right flywheel puller, and we might actually be able to attempt to try to get spark today. So I think that might be the next step. I just want to see if this thing has spark. Alright, we've got the old spark plug right here. I cleaned out the magnets that are attached to the flywheel, and the stator The stator surface looks pretty good. So when that magnet rotates around that stator, we should have good enough connection to where we get some spark. I'm not sure where all this connects to. I'm not sure if this bike has like a CDI or something like that. But it might not. It might just connect right up to the coil. So it could have just been for charging the battery. I'm not too sure. So let's just try it and see what we get for spark. I don't think we're going to get anything, but doesn't hurt to try. Alright, let's see, where can we connect this thing to? A good ground somewhere. There's really no place. Take a close look at that. Alright, I'm going to rotate the crank. Let's see what happens here. Doesn't look like anything is happening. Alright, let's just check and see if everything's connected properly. Alright, so I just looked it up. You do not need a battery to run this bike. Basically, all that runs this thing is the flywheel. Sends a signal up through the black wire. That's right here. That black wire goes to the coil right here. And basically that's all you need to run the bike. I'm trying to look for the kill switch on this thing. I think it's the brown and white, and the brown have to be attached together to make this thing run. You can see the brown and white right there, and then you can see the brown. The brown is ground, and then you want the brown and white to connect to that. And basically that's what starts the bike. I tried grounding out the spark plug. I just ground a little bit off the paint on the frame and tried to ground that spark plug to there and tried to crank over the engine, but I can't get it going fast enough to where, you know, it probably would spark. So we're gonna wait until we have the engine together, then try to get the spark, because once we can kick it over, we get that good rotation with that quick spin from the kicker, and hopefully that we can get that spark once that's done. Basically all we need is a gasket for this thing, and then we need to hone out the cylinder here. Hone this guy out, and then put the piston in the ultrasonic cleaner for a bit. And then we have to take apart the clutch, clean all the clutch plates out, do an engine oil flush with this thing, and then I think we're all good to go for the first startup. So that will be next video. We're going to try to attempt to get this whole thing back together, get spark, and start it up for the first time. I did not think it would be possible. I thought the whole piston would be rusted in completely. I mean, it was rusted in, but it's not damaged too badly, so I think there's still a chance. I thought for sure the crank would be bad, and actually it's not that bad. You can see there's a little side-to-side play, but zero up and down play. So the crank is still good, and it moves really freely in there. So yeah, we need to clean up the engine a little bit. It's got tons and tons of grease all over it, but that will be for next video. Anyway guys, hopefully you enjoyed this one and maybe even learned something. If you see a no-hold bike on the side of the road that's locked up, just know that there might be hope for it. Stay tuned for next video when we attempt to get this thing to run. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Till next time, we are out.